Hey there, Mally and Eddie here. Just a disclaimer before we start this incredible episode. Had some mic issues, okay? Dropped the mic before. My mic was really loud, all right? It came in real hot. Sounds like a fucking Aerosmith concert at times, okay? I don't know what the hell happened, but it is what it is. I want to let you know. Still an incredible episode. Just beware, okay? I'm doing this because I don't want to hear a bunch of people, oh, Matt, your mic's too loud. What are you doing? Turn down your mic. We know it's too loud. Enjoy the episode. Thank y'all for listening. Y'all take care now. Welcome to another episode of Overasked. Today we have a social media celebrity, influencer. I mean, he's real deal, Eric. What do you think?
He is the real deal. This is a guru right here.
This is a real guru. You know, we search long and hard for real gurus because there's a bunch of these bullshit gurus, and we really do search for someone who's, you know, spitting some real knowledge, because everyone can say, you know, your 3 ways to stage your house or 3 ways for Instagram hacks. But Neel, this guy goes into a whole new level of things here. We got Neel Dhingra on the episode. Neel Home for on Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. Neel, thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, man. Happy to do it. Thanks for bringing me on.
Yeah. So for people who may not know you, can you kind of give us your elevator pitch?
Yeah. So I'm actually in the mortgage industry, which sucks, by the way. I wish I picked a different career, but I was doing this for a long time and I kind of got burnt out on it. You know what I mean? Just the grind of working with people, chasing internet leads, things like that. So a few years, I've been doing this for like 15 plus years. And then a few years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of burnt out on this. Let me figure out something new. I'm just tired of doing what I'm doing. So I was either going to like quit or do something else or figure out another way within the industry, you know, because I like certain things about it. But like I said, there's a lot of bad things about the industry as well. So what I decided to do was just start putting out videos. I watched all these guys on the internet doing videos and doing content. And I was like, well, maybe I could try that, and started doing it in really bad videos at first. Like if I look back, I can't even watch through them. Even just a 1 minute video, I can't watch them. Like some of them were bad. But you know, that's how I got started. Then got slowly a little bit better over time, kept trying to do more. And then eventually it led to really explosive growth in my business. And I was able to add a lot of people to my team, and I was able to help people on my team do the same thing I'm doing, and then saw their business explode. So then what happened was, as I'm doing this, a lot of the people in the real estate industry and in the mortgage industry started reaching out saying, hey, you know, could we jump on a call? Could we do a podcast? Could you come speak at our event? Could you do this? And I'm like, okay, shit. So there's a really, I'm already passionate about this. Like this marketing is like, I love doing marketing for this industry. So I started doing all these little things, and that led to a lot more growth with both consumer business and then also with referrals and hiring and recruiting and all the different things on how you scale your business. So it's just been pretty cool to see how putting out content solved my problem. Like everything I didn't like about the business, I got to stop doing because of content. Like if you need to hire good people, content helps you. If you want better clients, content helps you. If you want to connect with anybody on the internet, like you'll get through them. Like, how'd you guys find me? Through my content. Everybody I've met who's good in my business life, like in the last 2-3 years, has been all through my content, primarily on Instagram.
That's very similar to me. I didn't really like the industry at all for real estate, and then as soon as I started doing content, everything started to make more sense. It became more fun. So is this your end goal? Do you want to get completely more on the marketing side and less on the mortgage side?
Because like at the end of the day, like a marketing guru or someone trying to help people with content, that's like, I think it's a commoditized thing. It's not really a good business model. But how you use marketing to have explosive results in business is huge, right? Because everybody wants that. So I'm just using it in my business, and I love, like, when I say I hate the business, I hate people who don't value you, right? Like, you know, we make the jokes all the time about how shitty real estate agents and mortgage lenders get treated, and that's why you hate the job. But like, imagine if you have 10 clients and 2 of them were like the best kind of clients, the ones that you really liked working with, they referred you afterwards, they were the best ones. Imagine if like 90% of your clients were just like those guys, you know. Think of your best clients. And so this is the way to kind of do that. So I kind of figured out a way to deal with more of the people I want to deal with, attract more business rather than going outbound. It can be inbound, and that's what's been making making more fun. So I think I'll always be on the production side doing this. And then I also found that the agents and the lenders respect you more if you're in the game. So there's all these coaches and gurus like you talk about telling you what to do. I think people are tired of being like preached to, like, hey, you guys need to do this, you need to do this, and coach, like unless you're a big coach like Tom Ferry, all the other coaches, like, it's just I'm just get tired of being lectured. You know what I mean? So I'd rather just see somebody doing the shit that I want to do. So I had a really big growth when I started, just instead of telling people what to do, I just started doing it, lead by example. Then they're like, oh, I'm gonna follow this dude because I want to learn how to do that too, or I want to steal his content ideas. Like, that's cool too, whatever. But that's what I think is the key, is like to actually be in the game and doing this versus just preaching.
Being in the game is huge. For me, doing the broke agent stuff the last 7 years, being an active real estate agent, Matt, I know I haven't been active in the last 6 months,
Yeah.
before you chime in there, but
Yeah.
has really helped the credibility of this too, because people see like, oh, he's licensed with Compass, oh, he actually does an
Yeah.
occasional
And it
deal.
makes you relatable. Like, you're one of us,
course.
bro. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that, you're on the streets, you're in the game. And so
Yeah,
in the
I think
trenches.
that relatability
yeah.
is important.
I don't know about I don't know about one of us.
Hey, look,
but
I mean, where do you think this content came from? I wasn't yanking it out of my ass here. This is,
Yeah,
real
that's
life
true.
shit here. So Neel, you said you started producing content, to kind of further your business as well. And then it's kind of evolved into more of a kind of consulting gig, right?
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
don't you have, Zooms where you have hundreds of,
Yeah,
lenders
yeah.
and
So
real
we do
estate
like
professionals?
so what I found is, like, I'm passionate about doing content and helping people in the industry. I would love to do that, like, but the thing is, that's just a side hustle. It's like a passion project for me. So what I'm my main business, which is helping clients buy real estate. That's my main business,
Yeah.
right? With financing. But then on the side, I help agents who want to do the same thing I'm doing. And we have a group, we meet every other week, and I get to collaborate with really awesome real estate agents and lenders throughout the country who are interested in doing this. And I just put that together recently, and it's been awesome to see. I didn't even really run any ads or tell anybody about it. I just posted in my story a few times, and hundreds of people, signed up for this thing, which was kind of cool to see, like, the community you have. Like, for example, I was going to San Diego the other day. I'm in Nevada, right? I'm going to San Diego to host a class with my buddy who works at Zillow. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to be in San Diego. Let me know if you'd like to come to this class. It's free. It's a meetup. We're going to talk about marketing. And then, 160 plus agents registered for the class, just from an Instagram story,
Yeah.
So that shows you the power of, like, hey, once you build the audience, like, in any market across the country, you have friends. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool to see, like, hey, these guys are going to come out and they want to learn from you. The only problem is, dude, I had 165 register and 58 showed. So what the fuck is happening to where all these people are like, yo, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then almost 2/3 of them always flake. And then on these other things, the DMs I get are like, yo, I'm into this. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm like, okay, cool. Here's the link. Ghost.
it's
You
it's
got
an agent thing,
Omicron.
man. No, you know what? It's the fucking agent thing. It's not following through. I
But
mean,
aren't you
that's
hyped on doing something? Like, you're like, yo, I want to make a change. 2022, I'm making a change. I'm gonna
right.
do better. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And then you literally just go to sleep. You're
But
like,
that's
fuck it. I'm just gonna
exactly
let the whole
like
year go by. I'm not doing shit.
that's exactly like content, creating content. Why isn't
Yeah.
every agent creating content? Can't they make excuses for themselves not to create it. I
But
think that's
also,
the
dude, I
same.
think here's what I also found out. I was saying that too, and I was taking the hard approach of like, yo, these people are lazy. They don't want to make content. They just don't want to put in the work like I did, right? And that was
Mhm.
my attitude for a while. But then I also realized, like, it's the same reason why I don't fucking work out hard and eat perfect. Like, I want the results, but it takes too long to get. So like, I work out and I eat good, and then it's like, I'm like, shit, I look in the mirror, I'm not shredded. So I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to Taco Bell. I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking
you're not trying to like
I'm
this,
working out like half
like
ass, you know what I
like
mean?
me
Like,
over here. I'm
yeah,
a
You're
but the
fucking
reason
shredded.
why
monster.
is if I could get traction, I think I would be like, oh shit, this is starting to work. But the
Yeah.
problem is it takes like 6 months to get traction. So nobody's going to stick with it long enough to get traction. So the reason why I started that program, Eric, like I was telling you, was like, I wanted people to get traction faster so they won't quit. You know, so if I could, like, first year of my doing content, I said it was eating shit, but that was like my tuition. I really wanted to get better at, so I learned. Now, if I could tell you, hey, dude, don't do this, do this. And by the way, say it this way because you're going to get way more views, or let's use this hook instead and you're going to get like triple the, like, so I can get people traction faster now. And my goal is if people get traction, they'll be like, oh, this is starting to work. And then they'll get motivated to do more. Like, I had a guy in my office, I had to drag him to do content. I mean, he loved doing content, but it was like you said, Matt, he was just kind of like lazy with it. I'm like, just do it, man. Let's do this. Let's do this video. And then he started to get like a few of them went viral for him. And now he's pushing himself like, oh, I got to feed the beast. I got to create some videos this week. And he wants to do it every week now on his own because he got traction.
Yeah, you get addicted to the content production. It becomes, I mean, it's our full-time job at this point. And
yeah, and it's cool when you get the feedback, right, Eric? Like when you get the emojis and you get the feedback like that, then you're like, shit, I want to make another piece of content.
Yes, exactly. Like if I only post once a day, I feel a gravitational pull back to Instagram saying like, you know, where the hell are you? What have you been doing all day? Time to
But imagine if you were
stories.
creating content and you're getting like, you know, one like.
Oh yeah, I'd
like
be done.
No comment.
Yeah.
You'd be like, fuck this, man.
Of course, yeah. But I think your point is right. It is the long game. And it's not like, you know, this stuff happened overnight. This has been posting every single day for 7 years. You know, the first post that the broke agent posted, there was 3 likes, no comments. So, you know, it takes a massive amount of time. So once you started posting content, who was your major inspiration for doing it? You said you were influenced by a few people. Was it kind of like the guru types like Gary Vee?
Yeah, the Gary Vees, those kind of guys. Like, you know, I see him at a conference. He's like, yeah, if you're not doing this, you're dumb, basically, is what he's saying, you know. And I'm like, oh shit, I better wake up. I have a decent IQ. I can see the writing on the wall. So I started doing that. And then I saw the need for more relatable content. Like I saw people getting suited up and being like, I'm the, you know, the banker, I'm the real estate agent. And I'm like, there's probably a need for people who are just like going to be themselves. Like even when I do videos with agents that we work with, like I'll be like, hey, you guys want to shoot a video? They come by, like their voice changes. The dude walks in with a full suit. I'm like, why'd you get a suit? I've never seen you in a suit before. And you wore a suit to my office. Like, why? Like, it doesn't help with the video. It actually hurts. I mean, if your suits are your thing and you're Ryan Serhant, dope, let's do it. But if you never wear one, like, why are you trying to put on this persona? So you're trying to think like, what does the audience want from me? And when it really starts to work is just when you just be yourself. Like just fucking, you know, you're not thinking, how am I going to look? How am I going to sound? And you're just like, yo, I'm me. I'm just going to do it. Like with you guys, you don't care. It's actually your brand to be like yourself. You know what I mean? And if you can get to that point, the content creation becomes a lot easier because you're just being yourself every day.
Yeah.
How'd you get Gary Vee on the podcast? Because I watched that entire episode and
yeah, that was cool.
Like, how the hell do you get this guy on? That is massive. And you got him like, I mean, he's still peak Gary Vee, but you got him what, 2019? Like after all these kind of agent connects that he was doing?
Yeah. So he's doing all these events and Gary Vee always has a product that he's pushing at some point. It's a book he's launched. It's sneakers at one point. It's wine company at one point. Now it's NFTs and another book launch. And you'll notice every time he launches something, he activates his audience to say, hey, if you buy a lot of this shit, I'll do something for you. Like for example, recently he launched his book and did 1 million book sales in like fucking 24 hours. I mean, it was ridiculous how many books he sold in literally 24 to 48 hours, because if you bought X number of books, 10 books, you got like an NFT of his or some shit. I didn't participate in that, but that's what they were talking about. So, yeah. So now what's happening is like at that time, what was happening was he was doing a wine company launch, Empathy Wines, which he later sold for a huge exit. So he started this wine company with 2 of his colleagues at work. They were pushing wine sales. They're like, yo, send me your offers. I'll barter with you. If you want to buy a large orders of this wine, because we're just launching, we want to push sales, I'll come do something. Like I'll do a consult. I'll come speak at your event. I'll do this. Right. And I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. Maybe I can get Gary in a podcast. So I messaged him back. You know, the team, they had a form, like a standard form you could fill out. And I'm like, yo, I'll buy $5,000 worth of wine. Can I get a podcast with Gary? And then they like literally replied with like, LOL. Like, dude, I mean, it was something like that from his team. They're like, dude, Gary's time is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
we're looking for orders of minimum $50,000 for this, for a consult or for a podcast. There's just, no way. So I replied back to that. I'm like, yo, I didn't realize it was like that. I feel kind of dumb, but thanks anyway. I was just looking for like 15 minutes. And I know Gary's speaking at this event in Vegas. So I was thinking maybe right when he's done or before, we could just jump on for 15 minutes. And maybe like the most I'd be willing to do is like $10,000 of wine. And but if no worries, if it can't happen, I understand. And then I added to that email Gary at VaynerMedia.com CC. And then like on a Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember, at like weird hour, like 1 a.m, I got a 1-line reply from Gary, just broken English, like no formalities. It's like, I'm in for 15.
Epic.
That's it. Like, maybe I just got lucky or something.
Exactly what I would think. How I would think that would go is how it went. That's exactly how like Gary.
How pumped were you when you saw that?
I woke up, I was like, yo, this is fucking badass. Then it becomes like, now Gary said yes. So how do you follow up now? How do we get it? No replies. So like I literally had to track down like people on his team through Instagram, Twitter, then find somebody's email address. Say, hey, dude, Gary, here's a screenshot of Gary saying we're good. How do we get this coordinated? No reply. Like literally, I think I must have sent like 16 emails and followed up. And then finally someone got back to me who's on his executive team. And I think like it's almost by design, like it's this hard, because he'll say yes to things and then it never happens because he's just so busy. And you really have to like push to get in there. So I wanted it to happen. I was going to make sure it happened. So I kept following up. And I think it's like survival, dude. Like if most people give up after 3 follow-ups or never follow up at all. And then they're like, yeah, Gary said he would do it. And then he fucking flaked.
Yeah.
They quit.
I'm such a big fucking Gary Vee fan. He's such an inspiration to me. We actually got a comment, a review on our podcast saying we talk about Gary Vee too much.
Yeah.
It's
like he's a huge inspiration to so many people. And he's such a good dude. So for example, like that's 15 minutes podcast, right? Dude sits with me for over an hour.
I was going to say, it was a long podcast.
We were in there for a while. And then even after the podcast, he gave me a bunch of stuff off the record, like some tips I could be doing, some insights from executives that he's met with. Like, dude was just, who can I connect you with? Like super over delivered. And then I have all this wine. So then I'm like, fuck, what do I do with all these wine? They literally bring it to my house and my office on pallets. I had to ship it to different addresses because of the way you order it. You can't ship that much liquor to one place as a consumer. There's all these laws. So like, dude, I have wine still here to this day. I haven't given away because I was giving it to like literally every client and every business partner I had. And then what happened was COVID hit and I stopped seeing people live. So then the wine just sat here. So I don't even know if it's
just
good
drank
anymore.
it all.
Yeah, we should just start drinking it daily. I don't know what the fuck.
We'll take some.
So did you,
I'll send you a case.
Were you nervous at all interviewing him? I mean, that's like interviewing Derek Jeter for me or something. I feel like I'd be so in my head.
For us, it would be like that. So when I sat down with him, I was a little nervous, but then, dude, something's weird with him. Like you already know him because you've seen him so much, and he's just so nice. Like it's just so relatable. I did like during the questions, like he's like he's kind of like, he's got ADD. He's like all over the place. So he'll go off on tangents and things like this, and you have to bring it back on the rails. But we had like a little conference room, and they had like a pad of paper with a pen on it, like for a meeting. And then we had like a bowl of trail mix, and homie was just like drawing on the pad and fiddling with like the trail mix for the entire interview, like
drawing his
like
NFTs.
Those are his NFTs. I was gonna say.
Yeah, dude.
Like
I think it actually helped me because he had something to fiddle with versus like that may have kept us in there for an hour. If I didn't, he may have gotten bored and been like, yo, I'm out. Like, okay, I told you 15 minutes. I got to go to the airport.
Yeah. So now that you have this piece of content, the Gary Vee interview, like it establishes so much credibility, right? Like
but you'd be surprised. So I was like, yo, I just met Gary Vee. We're flying home. I'm like, I got to meet my idol who inspired me. We just had a really good interview. Now we're homies. He's texted me afterwards, whatever. By the way, like I try to reply to text once in a while. Ever since then, he never replied. I think it's just like, it's either a burner phone or he just can't reply because he gets too many, whatever. But okay. So like, I'm like stoked on this. Right. And then, you think like, oh, this is going to be viral. I'm going to blow up. I'm going to do that. And really it's never as big as you think because it's so noisy out there. and there's so much news coming at things. Like, yeah, you get a bunch of high fives and people are stoked, but then it's dead, literally within 24 hours. So then it kind of reinforced this idea that like content is basically disposable now. I mean, the game is volume. And so what I was like, yo, this video I thought would go viral, and the clips from it I thought would go viral. It does help establish credibility because so many people are like, yo, you got to interview with Gary. Like they put you on a higher category. And also you can leverage it to get more interviews, which is cool. But from like an audience growth perspective, it was like underwhelming. And then so it was interesting to see like these clips from Gary Vee's podcast did not go viral, but a video that I made on tips when you're buying a rental property did go viral. So what does that tell you? Like they don't give a shit. They just want the goods now. Like we're past like the flash and like celebrities and Lambos and all this. Like nobody cares anymore. They're numb to it.
Yeah. Well, let's pivot to your content a little bit, because I really enjoy it. Like I watch your content mainly on TikTok, which I don't have like any following on TikTok, but that's where I see you most.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. And it's cool to see because our content is so different. And I love the fact, and I always say this, that like you can create creative content without being funny.
Yeah.
And like you're doing that.
I can't do it. Yeah.
Well,
so
you're doing
like skits, right?
Yeah.
I can't do that shit.
Right. And that's totally fine because I'm engaged the entire time. And I think out of everyone who does content like yours, you have the best hooks. And that's what I've brought it all back to. You have the best hooks to keep me engaged, because I have like I've never been diagnosed, but I'm sure I have ADD. Like I can't fucking stay still for, if it's 5 seconds, I haven't seen anything I like, I'm out. Like that's just how I am with video. And
3 seconds now, probably.
Yeah, you constantly bring me back in. And I really do learn a lot from your content. And it's cool because I see so many people trying to do your content now, and it just doesn't hit the same. And maybe that's has to do with what you were saying before. Like they're just not really being them. Their voices change. They're wearing a suit. Like when I watch your stuff, it's
delivery. Yeah,
your delivery's so like mellow. I think that's what I like. Like it's so calming. Like when I watch it, I feel calm, and like it's just this calming presence. Like, oh, you know what? I can do this. I can get 5 investment properties or whatever you're talking
what you're
about.
saying, Matt, is really important. So I found this insight recently. The content that works the best is if you're teaching, is when the person feels that they could do what you're saying. I could do that. Or like, they put themselves in that shoe. It's inspiring to them. And also like it's informative to them. When it's like so far-fetched and too complex, they're like, fuck this, I can't do that. Like I'll never be able to do that. So you have to make it super relatable. You have to dumb it down, and then you have to start really good with those good hooks. So like, Gary told me the same thing in our podcast. He was like, yo, you can either entertain people or you can inform them. And if you inform them, it's not like a lower category of content. It's just, you need to be like innovative with the way you inform people. You can't just like, so back in the, like a few years ago, if we're like talking about video, I would be like, yo, just get on video, just put yourself out there. But today it's not enough anymore. You just lost in the sauce. Like there's just too much noise. There's too much content. There's too much, people's attention spans are become really narrow. Like we knew that already, but they're it's not that they don't have the attention span. It's just they're selective because there's too much content to choose from. So like you'll watch a 1 hour podcast on YouTube or an interview, but at the same time, you'll tell me in the same breath, you'll tell me that you only have 3 seconds of attention to give to a reel. So it's like, if you don't know somebody already, you're very selective with paying attention to them. And so the way to conquer that is to just start hot, like come up with a good hook and really communicate better. Like people say shit like they're either trying to put on like a different persona, or they lack like any sort of inflection or anything in what they're saying. So then people just keep scrolling.
Yeah. And another thing I love about what you do is you speak from experience. So you say, hey, I've done this on my property. And then again, it brings it back to like, oh, well, he did it on his property. I'm a dude too. I can do the same thing as him. And then
that was another cool insight, is everything that you do that's real would work.
Yeah.
And so let's just say you're listening to this or watching and you're like, yo, that's cool. Neel owns property and he's, making money and he's talking from experience. I'm broke. Like, how the fuck am I going to do that? Well, you can share your client's experience. So you just ask them, be like, hey, Matt, do you mind if I share a picture of the house? Like, I just want to share it to some other people who are interested too. I won't put your name or your picture or anything. They're like, cool. Yeah, no problem. So just get their permission real quick, just in case some fucker comes back to you. It's like, yo, you put my thing in a video. I didn't authorize that.
Yeah.
So just get that. I usually do it through an email just in case, right? Or you can voice or DM somebody. So then I'll post like, hey, my client just bought this house right here, and they only put $26,000 down. Let me show you the numbers. And then you go to like a pad and you show basic general numbers. Don't give away any personal information or anything that would be weird. But now you've attached it to a real deal. So what I found is, again, with all the noise, people are like, they want what's real, like what really happened, because then it connects like, oh, that's a real house, real person in my market. I can relate to that, or in a market that I know about, like I can relate to that. So it just connects better if you can speak from experience or show a real example.
Yeah, the storytelling is clutch for that type of content. And I think initially, I want to like what you said about education versus entertainment as the two most important pieces of content. I think agents, 2015, 16, we're so focused on, okay, I got to do video, but I'm just going to do listing videos, and they're just showing their property. That's not really what's going to hit anymore on Instagram or Instagram Reels. It's educating your clients.
You could do reels on house tours, but you have to make them like bangers.
Right, of course. Like
you got to be like badass trending music and only 23 seconds of the best
slow-mos and sick hooks, with the captions and everything throughout. But I think realtors are now, and I see so much of this content, which is really cool, is they're hitting it from an education standpoint, and they're talking about their market, or they're saying, hey, these are the 3 top coffee shops, or these are the 3 best bars to go to, or something like that. And I think people are starting to see that on Reels, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you can do that localized content. That content actually does better on YouTube. So you have to think about a lot of people just say, hey, let's just do video, and they don't know what they're doing. And I would say that's fine. Just do it to get going, because that's how you get good at it. But like, if you're in the position where you want to actually get some traction with this thing, think about each platform and think about how people use the platform. So in Instagram, you don't search for content. There's no intent. You just get served up content. It's all an algorithm serving you shit. So you have to think about like what type of content could be served to the most amount of people possible. So you're talking about a narrow topic, real estate or like lending. It's pretty narrow. Like, of the millions of people that are going to see this video, that could potentially see this video by the algorithm, how many people are thinking about buying a house right now or selling a house? Like, it's a needle in a haystack. And then within that, you're thinking about people who may want to learn about this particular program or this particular thing that you're talking about. So now you're talking about a needle within a needle of like whatever, So it's like, dude, it's too narrow. That's the mistake people make. And those are still good videos. They get limited views and your sphere sees that you're doing something. But if you really want to blow up, you have to create content that a large group of people would find interesting, even if they're not in the market. So what's worked for me on information is taking a topic that people would find interesting, even, if they're thinking about buying 2 years from now or a year from now. Like, I'm going to save that shit. Or like, I'm going to follow this guy for when I do buy a house. I want to know what I'm doing or I'm going to share that with my sister who may be buying a house right now or whatever, that works for there. Then on YouTube, like, people are actually searching for the bars in this area, or what's it like to live in this neighborhood, or what's it like to do. So that type of content does really well there. And you don't need a lot of views on YouTube to be result. Like, a guy came into my office the other day to talk about YouTube, and dude has like a few thousand subs, nothing crazy. His videos are terrible from my standpoint. Like, dude, they're shot on the phone. I mean, they're just janky as fuck. Like, these just look like homemade BS, like my kids made them or whatever. But he said he got 23 closed deals from his YouTube channel last year, over 100 leads that turned into 23 deals in 2021, putting out terrible videos on YouTube, all about the local market. Like, here's what it's like to live in this neighborhood. Here's what the 3 best park, or like, just highlighting shit, local content, because people are like literally typing that into the search bar and YouTube serves that to them. So like, if you think about like what type of content you're putting there, those videos that he did on YouTube would have been DOA on Instagram, but on YouTube, they made him, hundreds of thousands of dollars in client commissions. So like there's just places for content. And I think in the beginning, everyone's like, just put videos up. Like, you know what I mean? You have to like think about the platform.
Yeah. The good news is about real estate content is people, more than many other industries, like to have an opinion on it, whether it's right or
Oh, yeah.
wrong or bad or, which is great for the algorithm. Have your opinion, voice your opinion on my page, whatever it is.
Yeah, but what do you guys think about this? I was going to ask you. So I see a lot of realtors putting out content that makes fun of the consumer. Okay, it's funny shit, right?
Me
Who
and
do you think you're talking to here?
yeah,
it's my entire
Eric and
business.
I.
Good.
Careful.
But like you're not like that's you. A lot of the engagement you get is from other agents. So like Eric's
Correct.
page, broke agent, is literally a meme page for real estate agents. So that's growing there.
And more than a meme page, but yeah, it's a meme page.
Yeah, but there's a lot
Yeah.
more. Like you know what I mean. Like it's more people within the industry than consumers.
Yes.
But if your goal as a realtor is to get more consumers than realtors engaging with the content, like I don't understand when they make fun of consumers, even though it is funny. I wouldn't use that as my main strategy as a real estate agent because
Correct.
I think the
I do.
consumer's like, well, what the fuck, like you're making fun of me. Like, so one of these guys was like, you look so dumb right now is like a trending reel or the song, the hook, like it starts off and then it goes to that hook. And they're like, yeah, everybody who told me the market was going to crash, you look so dumb right now. And like all these things are like, you didn't do this, or you rolled up to the closing in a new car and your deal died, or all these like trending things that people say. And I'm thinking from a consumer standpoint, I'm like, you're calling me stupid? Like what? You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't think people should necessarily share broke agent content, which I'm undercutting myself right now, but on their Facebook or something that's
Yeah.
clearly making fun of a client deal. But I think it can be effective in the sense that if you're in a broad sense making fun of a seller that is using the Zestimate as opposed to a market analysis,
Yeah.
it helps train the brain in a humorous way where it's like, okay, this is me actually, maybe I shouldn't do that. Or saying, hey, this is an agent or this is a buyer who doesn't want to get pre-approved but wants to see a shit ton of houses.
Yeah, that
So
kind of stuff.
if you make fun of that stuff, that actually helps kind of mold people where it's like, okay, hey, I followed your page. So I do this on a template platform we have where I create agent to client humor as opposed to agent to agent humor. So I think you could still do it in a way that isn't insulting to the client, but I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there complaining about clients being like, oh, no one uses me, or I hate, that my brother used another agent. It's like, well, you look like a bitch and for complaining. And then also you must suck if your brother used somebody else.
Yeah, he must really fucking suck.
Post like, yeah, when a client doesn't use me and then I find out they closed and then like I tell them to fuck off. Like,
exactly.
Okay, that's funny, but we can all relate. But like to the clients, they're like, well, why didn't they use you? Like they must
let us do the complaining. Like that's kind of the point of this page is for people to tag and be like, yes, I agree with this, but maybe not to necessarily exactly.
And
maybe not
other
to share
time I
it on
saw this
page.
when the market got really hot or really difficult, which it is still in many areas. People would post like, yo, I just got all my offers rejected. And they like literally take a picture of a bottle of like Fireball and like taking shots, like it's been a rough week, or whiskey. And it's like, this fucking business blows. You're off. All my offers got rejected. I'm like, who is that inviting into the market? You know what I mean? Like, you think like consumers seeing this, like, yo, sign me up, bro.
This guy's great. Yeah,
it's
really
I don't know.
Fireball,
I do make
frat party.
I do make fun of
literally
clients.
whipping Fireball outside of the car, saying like, this is the 12th offer I've written for these people, and there's no way it's going to be accepted, but I'm going to take a shot and write it anyways.
Yeah, I don't do that content.
Possibly get a DUI. Like, it's like, dude, it's almost depressing. And I'm thinking from a consumer standpoint, it's probably not a good look.
Right.
It's funny though, because I do some content like similar to that. But before the videos, I did like no business, and it's the only way I get business now is through Instagram.
But it's cool. That's to your point. Like Matt, I think it's just best known beats best, right? Like another agent could be way more knowledgeable and have more strategies up its sleeve than you. But if you're known for something, even if it is for funny shit that maybe some people find offensive, doesn't matter because you're known. It's better than being unknown.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you're necessarily making fun
jokes all day and 50% of them offended the audience. Like that would be a better strategy than being a ghost.
Yeah. You're not really making fun of clients too much. Like you're kind of making fun of scenarios. I mean, you do like the Freddie Mercury videos, like those are great music videos. And then, the one about online leads, that's not about clients or.
Yeah. Like when I watch yours, Matt, I never feel like if I was a client that I'm like, you're putting me down or something. I just think I can laugh along with it, or I could laugh at a dumb client because I'm not a dumb client. You know what I mean? Like, so there's that vibe. but I do see a few people like complaining and then too much in their content about people. Like this is a dumb buyer, this is a dumb seller, and it's like, well, it's our job to help these fucking people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they don't know shit about any of this stuff. We're in it every day. We should be helping them.
Well, yeah. Some people don't understand kind of and people always say like I cross the line, but I don't think I do cross the line because, like you said, it's more scenarios, I guess. But some people just want so badly to be noticed and funny that they'll sacrifice anything for the content, which is also not a good look. I do want to ask. I saw a post a couple weeks ago from you. You were saying you were kind of a loser before you had kids. Let's take a quick break because I got some important news here. Eric, do you want to make 2022 your best year yet?
Nope.
All right. Well, we're talking next level, triple your transaction volume, crushing the competition, kicking ass like Spider-Man, closing deals, and taking names kind of success. Are you sure you don't want that?
Now I do, actually, because
Yeah.
that's actually what happens when you partner with Boomtown, the #1 rated CRM in the game. It's got the tools and tech you need to generate and convert conversation ready leads. To check out Boomtown and see how you could score $750 in free digital advertising, visit boomtownroi.com/overask.
That's Boomtown, ROI.com/overask.
Yeah.
Were you actually like kind of down in the dumps?
Yeah, I just think like before, if you don't have a purpose for doing this business, like, so what's the goal? Like most people just want to make money, right? But like, what, do you want to do a better business? Do you want to take that money and invest it so you can retire eventually? Or do you want to build something or build an actual business to where it's valuable and it runs not only based on whether you go out and prospect today or not, right? Like, so I was just kind of a loser in the business sense of like, yo, if I don't call these leads and run on this treadmill of sales, my business is worthless. Like I'm only as good as my last month's production. So after a while, I just felt like like I wasn't, if you don't put in the work, you're not doing. So then I was kind of one of those people who we talked about earlier, who never does what they say they're going to do. And just kind of like flakes and just the common, felt like that to me, that's you feel like a fucking loser. You're not hitting your goals. You don't have financial success. Your family respects you, but they don't really respect you, So I'm like, when things changed, where I started getting more success, then people like actually respect you. They want to work with you. Your family looks up to you. Like you become like people coming to you with their questions and they really want your help now. And so that feels way better than the alternative,
Yeah. I need to, since we got you here, I need to ask you a question, Eric. I was telling you about this. Okay. I want to know if I've made the right or wrong decision.
There you go.
Ready for this? Okay. So I was planning, my wife and I, we're in a condo right now. We're going to buy a house and keep this condo as an investment. Okay.
Yeah.
The market has gone up so much. So if we were buying this other house, I'd have to put in 90,000 of my own money, 90 to 100,000 of my own personal money to buy the house and then keep this. The market's gone up so much that we've now decided to sell this. I don't have to put in my 100,000 at all, and we're actually going to bank probably 80 to 90,000.
Yeah.
That I figure I could use that almost 200,000 to put into a new investment, something else, because all my money would have been kind of tied up in this. Well, I'd have a good monthly, but do you think that was the right decision, or do you think I was looking at short term?
I'm just telling you from my experience, Matt, every time I've sold the house to buy the next one, I regret it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I know, I understand what you're saying. You're up a lot of money, but like you have something that the reason why you're up a lot of money is because you have something that everybody wants.
Yeah.
There's a property in that building and people are willing to pay top dollar for it. So if the market pulls back 10 or 20% in the next few years and you're like, oh fuck, I should have sold it at that point, then yeah, maybe that's the case. But if you think about holding it for long term, so what I think about these properties and I stopped selling them is like, let's just figure out a way to buy the next house and keep the current one and then turn that into rental and do the same. And then like now you get like 5-6 properties together over a few year period. Like those properties, when they're paid off, are my retirement, right? They're going to pay you you can't outlive the money. Doesn't matter if COVID-6 hits or if there's a war, like people are always going to need a place to live. And if those are decent area in decent areas and they're good properties, like the rent never stops. The rent can go down a bit if the market sucks and go up more, like right now, but it never ends. So like a lot of people save up, you need to save up this much money to be able to retire. Well, that money's in the fucking market, stock market, and if the stock market crashes, now all of a sudden you're in a tight pinch, and now you got to watch your spending and all this. Like it'd be better for me to think like, hey, I have 20 or 30 or whatever $1,000 coming in every month in perpetuity, forever. Like it never stops. So I can spend the whole fucking
big
shit
mistake, man.
month, and like another check is coming in on the 1st.
I haven't sold it yet.
But you know, that's what
Cancel
I think.
the
Like, you want a portfolio of properties, or you're a real estate guy and you want to own more properties, then why are we selling our fucking properties?
I don't know. I just feel like the market is gonna start going down.
Yeah.
And I just think we can cash out.
Yeah,
You
but
should
like
tell your
I could have said
clients
that
that
last year. I
buying.
could have said that the year before. I don't know. You know.
I know. No, I know. No one knows. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I don't know if I'm just getting blinded by kind of the money we can make, and then I just feel like we have different options.
Yeah.
Once, you know.
Well, it just also depends on, say you said, hey, I can cash out of this one, buy the other one, and then now I'll have a lot of cash and I could use that to get another investment. If you do that, you're cool. Like you've put the money to work. But if this scenario happens, which happens to many people, is they just sit on the money and then they don't buy anything because they think it's too expensive and they think the market's going to crash, or they don't put it to work in anything other else, and then it just sits. And if you're sitting on money, money's getting devalued every day. You know what I mean? Like because of inflation. So
you need 100K, man. I'll put in some crypto for you. I got some.
That's
there you go. Put it in put it into something
for you.
Where
I will. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I do want to put it into something. I just feel like I can free up a lot of cash here, and then also keep all like my big down payment that I had saved, and just use that for whatever I want to do. Maybe buy a property that's a little cheaper, a little further out of the city or something.
Yeah.
So no, definitely.
And also, thing you can think about too is what would you be able to get in rent for your place?
Yeah.
Because you might think like, dude, prices are high right now, so I would need to sell to cash in on it. You can also rent to cash in on it because you may be able to get higher rents than you've ever seen before on that unit. Like that's monthly cash flow to you.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, now I have to rethink my entire life.
It's just something to think about, because I've always regretted every time I sold one.
How big of a portfolio do you have now?
I have 6 now, but you know, I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, but you look back at the properties you sold and you're like, why the fuck did I sell that?
Yeah.
Like, it's great property. It was in a good area. It was yielding me money. Now it's going to cost me more to get back into it. Like,
why did you sell it? Thinking like I'm thinking right now?
Yeah, I was like, yo, I got this much equity. I could take it out, book it to the next place.
You turned out all right, though. Maybe it's good that I'm thinking like you thought.
Eventually, yeah, you maybe get to the same conclusion.
The same mistake.
I'm just trying to save you time. Let me save you some fucking headache.
Yeah, true.
So I got a question too, a burning question, not about buying real estate. I saw you on the Brad Lee podcast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What's
the deal with this guy? Is he like a course developer? Is he a mini Grant Cardone?
Brad Lee is
this guy's everywhere.
He's the expert in training people. He started a training company. So
he's a car salesman, right? Like was a car salesman.
Literally, like when we say he's car salesman, is derogatory for him. He was literally a car salesman. He was managing a dealership, managing a team of salesmen, and then he found that like if you train the salesmen, they'll do better. So let me train these people. So he started training people in the automotive industry. Then at some point he switched to creating a platform that would allow online training. And this is before like all the online training tools that you see now.
Like
so he was one of the pioneers in the industry. Mm-hmm. So they started an online training platform called Lightspeed. And then he got some of the biggest people on that platform. So in the beginning it was like automotive industry, but then it became like the Tony Robbins and the Grant Cardones and anybody, the Damon Johns, like all these huge names are on his platform from day one, and they're still on his platform. A lot of them.
Is he friends with Grant Cardone?
He is, yeah.
Okay, they seem like very similar personalities.
Yeah, so they like got together in this platform. He spoke at Grant's 10X conference and all this stuff. So then he became just a good business guy. He started this business. He's crushing it. He's helping other people train their people. He's helping other people make money on his platform because they can sell courses and stuff too. So then he's like, I'm going to build my own personal brand years ago, and he started his podcast, which his podcast has a huge reach. Like the amount of people who connected with me from being on his podcast was more than any other like interview that I've ever had results from.
Wait till you see what happens after this one. Your
Yeah.
phone will be
This is,
Right.
dude,
blowing
you're
up.
gonna be fucking, you're gonna
Not with-
10x.
Notwithstanding this one. Okay, so then this dude like started putting out content, and the way his content strategy was like, I'm just gonna do like Gary Vee, document everything and then put it out. So he's on, like he's literally on, meaning like he's being filmed, and it's almost like he rises to the occasion with the filming. But like if you go into his office for a meeting, there's a dude there filming the entire meeting. Any interactions, like this podcast, he would have his camera guy right over here filming him talking to you. They just document like 8 hours of footage every day. And then he has a team of like 4 people there that combs through it and pulls the clips. And then they put out like 3 videos a day, 365 days a year across all platforms.
Jeez.
And then he also publishes a podcast. So he's built a pretty big personal brand just off of what he's doing every day. And he's just generally a funny dude. He's kind of outspoken. Some of his content offends people, I guess.
He's just a little intense.
Aggressive. Yeah, he's pushing it. I think like, so here's what I noticed when he spoke at my event, I did, and then also I've just hung out with him many times. Like he's a really good guy, super smart and really knowledgeable. I think he turns it on a little bit for the camera, just because that's what content hits. Like sometimes you got to turn up the energy for the camera and say something blunt or abrasive. But some people don't get turned off by that, I guess.
Gets views, gets comments, polarizing, works for sure. So we like this guy in general, is what you're saying.
Yeah, dude, he's
Matt and I
been
were
super
skeptical.
helpful to me. Very nice guy, really smart. He's just a little abrasive.
Let's get him on the pod, Eric.
Yeah,
Let's
we'll get him on the podcast.
He'll do it too. That's the cool thing, man. Like, dude is super nice. He's willing to do stuff. If you told him you have a podcast with an audience in the real estate industry, he'll likely do it. You may have to follow up a few times, but he'll do it. And then you'll notice like everybody has good things to say about him for the most part. The audience may say like, oh, that guy's videos are a little, too much for me. I can't watch them. But most people get value, from it. And then also the people that interact with them or do business with them all have good things to say about them. So that's what I noticed.
That's solid. Neel, you a car and a watch guy? I've noticed some things. Yeah, I've noticed a couple of things.
I got a car.
I got a car.
I got a vehicle, yes, and I have a watch. I wear a watch daily.
I've noticed we have the same watch, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah. What is that?
This is a Datejust Wimbledon.
Oh, yeah. I'm wearing that right now. Except my bracelet is a little different than yours.
Oh, yeah. I got the Jubilee.
I got the flat one, but I like wearing a nice watch.
Okay.
I think it's classy, man.
Yeah, and you got a Lamborghini SUV.
Yeah, that I got. So I was thinking about getting one forever, and then I thought, dude, I'm like, all these people are gonna make fun of me for getting a Lambo, like typical bullshit. But that car, I've been looking at it forever. Like it's just badass. It's not like the sports car. Like this is actually one you could drive daily, like an SUV, and it just looks badass. It's an awesome car. So I had been driving Tesla forever and was tired of just the quiet, no noise Tesla. I was like, I'm gonna get an exotic car. I'm gonna look for this. And I thought about it for like 6 months prior to pulling the trigger. I'm like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Are people gonna think you're a douchebag? Whatever. And I just said, fuck it, I'm getting it. And it's been awesome. It's actually led to a lot of business too, because a lot of people, it's like a conversation starter. People notice it. And then a few people said you're a douchebag, but majority of people said, this is awesome. Congrats.
Well, there you go.
Can I drive it?
Neel?
Yeah, so I posted it on getting my plates, which say winning, which I don't know how that was available in Nevada, but the license plate literally says winning. And I put it on the plate, and I have a video of me putting the plates on, like, hey, I got the plates for my Lambo. And in the comments, there's 3 or 4 people that put #douchebag.
Yeah, well, you're gonna get it.
But there's like 93 or 100 plus more comments that said positive shit. So it's kind of tells you like there's always gonna be 2 or 3 trolls. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, fuck them. I mean, if you've learned anything from this podcast, hold on to your properties and buy a Lamborghini SUV. I think those are the biggest takeaways.
Rolex.
Yeah, and a Rolex.
Okay, hit up Eric for crypto tips.
Yeah, seriously. Don't put all your money. Don't put all your money into Thorchain at $3 and then watch it go to 21 and then watch it go back down to 50.
Well, in Vegas, bet on, what is it in Vegas? Play roulette, bet on black.
Yeah, that was Danny Deal's 5K on black. That
he never did it again.
No, he did it. He did it once, and then we got kicked out of the casino because I was filming it. So
Oh shit.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go. Well, Neel, thanks so much for stopping in. We are excited about this episode. You absolutely delivered. I think the audience is going to really like it. We
Yeah,
really
man.
appreciate you, man. Where can the people find you?
So just on Instagram at Neel Home and NEELHOME, and then on TikTok. I'm not really on TikTok as much, but you can hit me up there. My average viewer on TikTok is 14 years old, so I'm looking to raise the age of my audience on TikTok. So if you could follow me, that'd be cool.
Sweet.
But yeah, Instagram is where I'm active every day, and I'll respond to all the messages there.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, dude.